Hi there and welcome to Cappuccino Conversations, where we celebrate Innovation Month. It's the 5th South African Innovation Summit coming up the 28th, 29th and the 30th of August. And we are talking to a lot of the speakers that you'll be seeing on the stage there. And one of them is Jason Haddock from Saratoga Software. Thanks for joining us and welcome.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
Great stuff. Now, first of all, as we start out, you work in a very specific area of innovation with regard to software, right?
That is correct.
Do you want to give us a little bit of background?
Okay, well, the company I work for, Saratoga Software, is a IT consulting company. And essentially what we do is we do two main things. We do some product development and we also do a lot of consulting work. We generally largely based it at the larger corporates. And I suppose part of the reason that we've been fairly successful is just that we have a natural kind of flair for innovation, and that's really where I come in. So I joined Saratoga a few years ago, and I have a passion for innovation, and I started to do a master's degree. And Saratoga is an amazing company in that they have a strong passion for personal mastery. And they essentially let me just completely take over the company, become the innovation puppet master, and try some interesting and innovative stuff there.
Okay, that's great. Now, this is the area that you're going to be doing your presentation on, and I'm going to come back to that a little bit. There's more so than in other businesses. I think in the technology space, there's a huge amount of innovation happening. What is the reason for that?
I think a lot of companies, and especially companies in the States, and it's starting to become quite prevalent in South Africa as well, realize that technology is a big enabler. We kind of moving into the knowledge economy, and there's a lot of buzzwords about big data and business intelligence and bleeding your data asset, which is driving a lot of companies towards this technology space.
Right.
And there's a lot of innovative opportunities in that big data space for companies that can harness that potential.
Right.
And I think as well is that we're also in a creative economy, and a lot of groundbreaking innovations are happening in the creative technological space. I was actually fortunate enough to be at Tech Global about a month ago.
Okay.
And I saw some pretty epic and amazing speakers there talking very much around the subject of technology innovation.
Right.
And there are some absolutely awesome innovations coming out from that site, which I think just coming back to the South African context, I think we've got so much potential in this country for technology innovations. That there's I think there's a lot of potential for us for mobile application development,
That's great. That's great. Also, obviously, in terms of just the applications, in terms of education, and just the sheer volume of need in this country, I suppose there's just a really great opportunity there. I want to ask particularly about if you look at South Africa in comparison to innovation that's happening elsewhere in the world. How are we doing as South Africans? Are we innovative? Is there a lot of innovation happening? I think there is. The problem I think South Africans face is the lack of confidence in their own capabilities. I think that a lot of South Africans try and compete on a local level, or on a kind of, some of them even go so far as a regional, national level. Okay. And I think that a lot of us are actually too scared to kind of try our footsteps and try and compete on a global level. And it is interesting because a few of the international speakers that I've spoken to, or international people, are all just awe-inspired by the level of innovation from South Africans. Really? And they're completely dumbfounded by the fact that we aren't competing on a global level. So I think it's just a lack of confidence. I don't think there's a lack of innovation. Okay, so there's a message for South Africans just to kind of get out there and go and show it off and make contact with the outside world.
Yes.
Now I want to come back to your session specifically. You're going to be doing a case study about your specific company situation. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What could people expect from your session?
Okay, so it's essentially what I've done is I've created a community of practice at my company Saratoga. And I've looked at trying to take a number of innovation frameworks. I'm a huge fan of IDEA, so I'm a massive fan of Tim Brown and design thinking. Okay. So I've brought a strong element of design thinking into the work that we do, as well as systems thinking. So I'm trying to blend those two together and taking some other concepts around Peter Singer's organizational learning around Theory U change management, and I've kind of blended all of these frameworks together in the hopes of finding some kind of magical, I suppose, magical ingredient in that to help us be a far more innovative company.
Okay, great. And are you going to share some of the results of that? I mean, are you?
No.
No. Okay.
Fine. No, of course, yeah, no, that's the plan. Is
great.
to I think just talk about the journey, because it's, you know, it's almost like the journey is more interesting than the destination.
Right.
And we've done a lot of stuff at Saratoga around the innovation space, and I think we've learned some very valuable lessons, and also some harsh realities. You know, because I think there's also still a slight feeling that the creative side and the innovation side is not really what drives a business, and often I find that the biggest challenge has been finding the time to be creative and innovative.
Right, right. Also, I think it's being such a new concept still, and being such a difficult thing to really share ideas, particularly in bigger corporations. In terms of the size of the company, do you want to talk a little bit about the size or scale, or how you're finding how people, you know, how easy is it for the people to get involved?
Well, I've actually got the dichotomy of both. So the company itself is only 50 people in size, but a lot of our work is done in the larger corporates. Okay. So I've been exposed to innovation both at the micro and macro level. Right. And I think there's challenges on both sides. In smaller companies, there's this constant need to be opportunistic and try and find new business, and it's literally like a dog chasing a bone. And sometimes that does hinder more kind of strategic innovation. Okay. But at the same time, it also allows you to be more naturally creative and naturally innovative.
Okay, so is it a focus issue with smaller companies?
I believe it is, because I think a lot of, especially from a Saratoga perspective, a lot of our effort and energy has been focused onto process-driven innovation and trying to actually be more productive and better with our time. Okay. Okay. And then if I look at the larger corporates, I think there's this absolute just crying out for innovation, but I suppose one thing that the corporates have is that they're this kind of, you know, the giant oil tanker type of analogy, where they really just, you know, they want it, but they struggle to actually change that direction.
It's hard. We've always done it this way.
Yes.
Very difficult. Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, that's one of our kind of passions at Saratoga, is we know that we're going to grow and we want to grow, but we've taken the analogy of, instead of becoming a tanker ourselves, we're trying to create become a speedboat, and then our growth will actually be this armada of speedboats. Right. Okay. And there's this absolutely beautiful video of these swallows in the Okavango Delta. And it's a great video of systems thinking and self-organization. Okay. And the video depicts this hawk. It's a natural predator of these swallows, and collectively in a group, it shows you how they actually defend themselves against a swallow and actually drive it away. And that's, I think, a nice analogy for small businesses looking to grow in an innovative way, and still being able to actually, you know, even when they get to the large corporate size, still being agile and flexible enough to be able to be innovative.
I suddenly, while you were talking, I had images of Rango, where in the movie there was these sequences where a whole bunch of bats were making the shape of an eagle in order to scare off the snake. It's that kind of image.
Absolutely, yes.
Other than that, I was going to come up with Terminator, and that was just really not going to be a pleasant image.
Okay.
I also wanted to ask you about your previous life. I mean, we often ask people about what they did before innovation, because this innovation space is kind of the last 7-8 years, I guess. What did you do in your previous life?
I was a basement freak, propeller head, geek, nerd, computer programmer. As you can see, I'm still a geek. And I was a software developer through and through. So I was also an entrepreneur. I had a couple of small software companies. One of them sold, and it was quite nice, because that gave me a nice little boost at the beginning of my journey. And the other one is still ticking away. I took Bugs Bunny would say, I took a left turn at Albuquerque. So I went into the corporate world for 7 years, and that was an interesting learning journey as well. I learned a lot of stuff there, but I think after 7 years, that hunger and drive you have as an entrepreneur, I could feel it starting to get stifled. And now being back in a small entrepreneurial company, I can safely say that is the place to be.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well, Jason Haddock, thank you very, very much for your time. Thanks for joining us. And we're looking forward to your session
thank you very
at the
much.
summit. Thank you. If you'd like to go online and check out the link, then this is the link for the summit, the Innovation Summit. Also, of course, remember that there's that Facebook competition where you can enter any of your innovations and win some fantastic prizes. So just check out the link and follow that and make sure that you join the Innovation Summit coming up at the end of August. Thanks for watching Cappuccino Conversations. Until another time, goodbye.